What is going on, everyone? Today we're going to be starting a new series where I document build requests that I make from people on MC Market. If you are liking this new kind of content, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and yeah, let's hop right into it. So guys, today our requester goes by the name iCycle. TLDR, I'll summarize what he wants in the build. His requested requirements are the following. Number 1, a medieval castle spawn. Number 2, needs to be off the ground. Number 3, a jungle-themed war zone beneath so that players can PvP. And number 4, a mythical beast around the castle. Alright, so we're going to start up by firing up my favorite 3D program, which is Blender. Basically, you can download this by going to blender.org. It's free to everyone. It's very easy to pick up. Look up some tutorials and you'll be doing what I'm doing in no time. So to meet the first two requirements of this build, we're going to create a floating island and we're going to put the castle right on top of it. That way it looks good and people can still jump down to PvP in the war zone. This is very useful when you want to make a large structure or terrain such as what I'm doing right now, which is creating a floating island. So what I'm doing right here is utilizing one of the program's unique features, which is the sculpt mode. Basically, I'm just using it kind of low poly to create kind of a rock texture in Minecraft. You don't have to be too detailed because the quality is gonna just go down a lot because you're transforming it into a block game after all. So kind of low poly is the best way to go when you're doing these sorts of things. Now that we're finished with Blender, we're going to transfer it into a schematic that we can put in the game. So now we are in MC Edit and we're just pasting the object into the world. And so a bad habit Blender the MC has is it usually pastes the schematic sideways, and that's why we have MC Edit. We can just flip it over. Easy peasy. Also, I want to point out that MC Edit is literally rendering 2 million blocks and Google Chrome is still using up more RAM. That is very cool. So everything's going pretty well, we're just updating the lights, everything's good. We'll probably... I'm sick of having a crash, I'm just going to go in the World Painter and deal with this later. We're just going to start off by making kind of a flat world, and we're going to raise mountains around it, around y equals 64, because that's the default Minecraft terrain, and I think the owner wants to merge this with his world, so that'll work pretty well. So here we're going to kind of make mountains around here, kind of make it look like sort of jungle terrain, jungly mountains. Obviously we'll add water and trees in a little bit, but we just want to get the general land structure down. Typically in jungles you have mountains that kind of plateau and then move upwards and then plateau again, so we're just trying to recreate that as best as possible on each of these mountains. I'll put a picture up right here. As you can see in the picture, I kind of highlight the plateauing areas in white just to give you a kind of more realistic example. We then move on to adding kind of some water around, some beaches, give the terrain some texture with different blocks and all that, kind of make it feel like it's more mountainy and not just all grass, because, just grass is boring. We add some beaches here, and it really seems like the map is starting to come together now, which is very nice. So here we show kind of an overhead view, what we're probably going to see in the map. I added some jungle terrain, so there will be jungle trees everywhere. Let's take a look into the main world now. So guys, I'm very hyped to see what this looks like. Let's see how it turned out. Earlier in the video, we were working on the island, and we ended up getting it to paste face up, if you were wondering what happened to that. I have access to a server with a lot of gigs available, so I just decided to paste it in with async world edit. I had a totally original idea to go on a second account and kill my computer's memory by recording myself building with shaders on. Remember, my computer suffered greatly for your entertainment. So a big challenge in the beginning was thinking about how I'm going to fit this giant castle on this island. I kinda wasn't sure what I was going to make, so I sat around thinking about ideas a lot. Didn't really build that much. It was just really slow going in the beginning, but Eventually I got an idea and I got my momentum up the pace, and it was just kind of smooth sailing after that. So eventually I got the vision to create what I wanted, and what I decided was I wanted the exterior to be symmetrical and the interior to be different. We've moved on to building the general shape of what the castle structure will look like. This is the most important part of the build and will define what everything else will be. There are quite a few techniques you can use despite this being so simple. This may be a block game at the end of the day, but you know what? Put some curves on your buildings because it improves the quality of them a lot. If you mix the curves with the boxes, 9 times out of 10, it's going to look superb. So obviously we need to decorate these walls with something that isn't just a solid white because, you know, that's really boring. There's nothing to it. It just doesn't look professional at all. So after a couple minutes of experimenting, I decided to go with this decoration, which will really spice up the castle walls and really just make it look interesting. I get back to experimenting with different ways the middle and the pillars will look. At this moment, the pillar shape looks really weird. They obviously need changing. I decided to keep the general structure of the middle, and because of the wall decorations, it only gets changed a little bit. I do think the general dome-like shape is very appropriate for the middle of our build, so we're gonna keep it. The next part of this build is probably the most tedious. Basically, it revolved around getting the decorations on the face of the structure and trying to measure and kind of gauge where it should be and where it shouldn't be and how it should look. Kind of a lot of, you know, dividing and a little bit of math here and there, but it really wasn't that hard. I decided that this design was appropriate for the outside too. On the corners, we used the little stone brick stairs as a different design to kind of alleviate some of the edges on it, make it look more natural. While I was making the castle pillars, I had an idea for the decoration design. If you split the decoration in half and reverse them, you can make them look like eyes that stare down from far away. This really gives the island a feeling that you're being watched over when observing it from below or from far away. Right here we're making a special gate design, and we're going to take half of it and flip it and paste it on the other side to complete the castle. Now that we're finished with the exterior, we are going to start working on the houses inside on one of the corners. We're going to try our best to stay faithful to the medieval style that we're going for, but I want to make it look a little more modern as well, so I decided to go with this design. Obviously, houses that are square are very boring, so we decided to add some rounded shapes to it and add some decorations on the walls so that it looks much more interesting and isn't really that bland to look at. We used more creative blocks, and if this was 1.16, we could have made this look quite a bit better, but stone brick slabs and stairs will get it done, along with wood and trapdoors. We're on the final step of this corner, which is adding light and just kind of smoothing out everything, making it look pretty sweet. So now that we're starting on the second corner of the castle, I want to give this kind of a cabin feeling, give it a shop, kind of a warm welcome feeling right here. That's kind of what I was going for. The harder parts of spawn, we're gonna add some nature looking areas, kind of decorate things. Just really spice it up a little since we don't want all four sides to just be houses. As you can see here, we finish up the middle and we're just looking to decorate and make it look like there's a lot of stuff going on in this build. We have just about finished the island and we're going to take a cinematic look now.
Cannot stop it. Cannot stop the Rasputin hard base. It is unbeatable.
I'm not gonna ever post a normal song for this, okay?
At this point, all that's left is the mythical beast, so we're just gonna draw that out real quick. Excuse my drawing skills. Now that we have sketched out what the mythical beast is going to look like, we're going to start modeling it in Blender, and then we are going to convert it to MC as a schematic and paint over it. We're hopping straight into the world where I pasted the dragon, and as a stone statue, this looks very good. In fact, much better than I thought it would turn out. So we're just going to edit this a bit, we're going to edit the shape, add some color, and we should be completely done with this build after that. Alright, so we're just taking a look here, and it does appear that my man's looking a bit googly-eyed. He's also lacking some detail, so we need to get some more work on this if we want this to look good. And we're finally done. Taking a look at this, I am quite satisfied with how it turned out. If this was requested in 1.13 or above, I probably could have made this much more detailed. However, for it being 1.8, I think this is much more than satisfactory. Hey guys, this is my first time making a video like this, and I hope you all enjoyed it. I'm planning on making more videos like this every time I get a commission, so you should drop a like and subscribe. I'll showcase some cinematic shots of the finished build. This is Lerfing, over and out.